Welcome back to Navy Sports Magazine. Time to shine the light on Navy water polo mids with some good work over the weekend, and as they get their fall season underway with Holden Seybold. And Holden, for you guys, just take me through the weekend. Obviously, multiple matches. What are the keys to getting through multiple matches, and obviously a great chance to use some depth this weekend as well?
Yeah, so obviously it's a lot of game time, a lot of warm up time and warm down time. The main thing is just like using the time in between games to rest, getting proper nutrition in King Hall. And a lot of our parents were here, so they helped out with that side of it too. So yeah, just getting a lot of rest and a lot of nutrition is how we got through it. Yeah.
You mentioned an interesting term there, and I think fans probably are going, warm down. You know, uh, just sports has become the rest and recovery now has become so specialized in everything, so structured even in everything that we do. What goes through the warm down for a water polo player who's clearly been in the pool, treading water, and obviously going through the physicality of what is an amazing sport, for almost an hour.
Mhm. Yeah, so obviously we warm up for the game, which is a lot more than the warm down. But once the game is done, we get in the pool after we talk usually and swim at least like 12 to 16 laps just to loosen up the muscles a little bit and like calm our heart rate down, like active recovery, not just like just stop doing any activity at all, just kind of like ease into uh, like a lower heart rate and try to like give our muscles a little bit of a rest. That's the main point of it. So it's like 12 to 16 laps usually.
Obviously, the water has been no stranger to you, being a water polo player, swimming, obviously, in high school as well. What made you fall in love with water polo, and obviously, use it as a tremendous vehicle now to get a great education here at the academy?
My dad played water polo when he was in high school and at USC for a year. Uh, and I grew up in Southern California where it was a big sport in my town in Laguna Beach, California. Uh, so I was introduced to it at like 10 years old. Like both of my cousins played, so I have a lot of family that was involved with the sport. And then started swimming. Wasn't a very good swimmer at first, but then started water polo. Really liked that a lot more than swimming. So I uh, I stuck with that, and I've been playing ever since I was like 10.
You're one of the bigger guys in the pool, and obviously we've had a chance to do several matches through the years. I'll never forget. I think it was Stanford that came in here, and it seemed like every guy in the pool was a cyborg. It seemed like 6'6" was the shortest guy in the pool for teams like that. But what kind of an advantage is that, though, being a bigger guy, in the pool for you, and obviously as you assess, what you can do during the course of each match?
Mhm. Yeah, so it definitely helps being larger, but there are people who are like on our team who aren't the biggest guys who still contribute a lot to the game. I'm focused a lot on defense in my position, and it's obviously just harder for the offensive player to move me around where they want me to be if I'm bigger. So that's a part of it. And yeah, I can move them where I want them to be. So that helps a lot. So I can kind of like command them and then command the rest of the defense to make sure they don't score on us. And that helps a lot. Then on offense, it like I just said, like I can kind of move the guy around like to where I want him to be able to like give me the best opportunity to score. So that's nice. But there are still people who use that like their smaller stature in a very good way.
Gonna say, I mean, obviously, too, your progression, obviously, each year, doubled your scoring output last year as well. So not only defending well, but obviously getting to contribute in the offensive game to be able to go, back to the West Coast last year and be able to, score against teams like Cal State, Fullerton, and play well at that Triton Invitational in front of obviously, I'm sure some home folks out there. Just what was that experience like, and what has allowed you each year now to progressively contribute more offensively as much as what you're doing on the defensive end?
Yeah, so when we went out to California, like my obviously my parents came, so my grandparents came and aunts and uncles. Like it was a kind of a big event just because it's so close to them. So they're like might as well go down and watch. They had a lot of fun and uh that's super great because like a lot of the kids on our team are from California, so it gives their families opportunity to come watch as well because it's just pretty hard to get from the West Coast to the East Coast and then back. Um, so that was nice. And then talking about like transition, like getting better at offense. Been shooting a lot in the off season and in the preseason. Just repetitions of shooting, like rehabbing shoulder, making sure it stays healthy. Um, Visualization helps a lot. Just like kind of understanding where I need to be to put myself in a position to score, and obviously listen to my coaches because they know how to win games, how to score. So yeah, that's how I've done it.
You mentioned, the shoulder. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously with what you all do here, it's in a very similar way to, the way baseball players throw constantly. The ball's a little bit bigger, obviously, than a baseball, puts a lot of pressure on the shoulder. What's the key to rest and recovery? And obviously, you guys are in the weight room as well. But what's the key to, that rest and rehab where, and obviously, I mean, you're putting a lot of pressure on shoulders. Those things are getting killed during the course
Oh yeah.
of matches out there.
So before every like practice or match, like I do bands, like I use a band to warm up, and uh that strengthens the area, helps with like mobility around that area, and that's like really has helped my shoulder like stay healthy. I've never really had any shoulder problems like other than like minor like just overuse that went away pretty quickly because I stayed consistent with bands and just warming up before practicing games and making sure I didn't just jump in and start passing and shooting without like proper warm up. And then also warm down like we were talking about. Super important to not just like get your arm super like shoot a bunch and then immediately get out and shower and go back to your room. Like it's important to warm down. Even bands after practice, sometimes I'll just do some like mobility stuff. Uh, and ultimately, like that's also sleep is a very important part of that. Getting enough sleep is really important for recovery from weightlifting and from shooting and all that. So yeah.
And as we know at the Naval Academy, good luck with that. You know, you guys have gradually also had more success. The expectations have risen greater each year, and I'm sure the expectations are incredibly high again this year. How do you have the patience to take each match as it comes, throughout the course of your work to achieve the goals that you guys are looking to get to here in this season?
Yeah, so it's hard. It's a long season. It starts at the beginning of the year when we start school too. So we have to balance the school, water polo, and like just being a midshipman in the hall. So it is difficult, but being together with the boys like who are going with through the same thing is like ultimately how we get through the day to day, how we get in like in the water every day for practice, in the water for games, just like being next to the boys, doing it with them and grinding together. That's ultimately like how we get through it. Yeah.
I was going to say too. I mean, look, I mean, you guys are a small, close knit group.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, how do you convince a small, close knit group that it's okay to lean on each other? Because there are moments at this place where you do have to lean on
Hmm.
each other for various different things. Is that a tough adjustment or is that an easy adjustment?
I think it is a tough adjustment, especially for like young guys who think like, oh, I can do whatever. Like, I'll be fine. Like, I don't need any help. It definitely was a tough adjustment for me. But then, like meeting the guys on the team who I really looked up to and seeing them, like when I was a plebe, like seeing the upperclassmen lean on each other, like having conversations, like just like having conversations in the locker room, like asking for help, stuff like that. It's just like it helped me see that like asking for help is okay, and that's like a big theme is that like we're all doing this together, we're all struggling together. Like ask for help. Everyone has something to offer, so might as well take up that opportunity to get better.
Great test coming up, obviously with Princeton.
Hmm.
Thoughts on what lies ahead this coming Saturday with a great match with the Tigers coming up.
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, a great weekend, 5-0. And I think we have a lot of good energy coming from this weekend. Uh, just grinding in practice this week, and then getting to that day, we're going to be super focused, very, very very prepared. Our coaches are strategizing right now. We have practice in about 2 hours. We're gonna go over a bunch of game plan and all that kind of stuff. Um, and the game, obviously, Princeton is a very good team. I think we are also a very good team, and I think we have an opportunity to give them a very good game. Um, and yeah, I'm very excited for this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend for the Mids. They take on
Mhm.
Princeton 9:30 Saturday morning. That is available on ESPN Plus. Afternoon matchup with Iona, and then Sunday an opportunity against another top 10 team in Pacific. Holden, appreciate you taking some time for us. Best of luck to you and your teammates this weekend and with the rest of the season.
Of course, thank you very much, sir. Thank you for having me.